Alright, well, welcome back to the channel. For all you that are new to this channel, I get up in crawl spaces and I do inspections. Whether it's for a sale of a house, a refinance, or just a homeowner wants to know what's going on down there, that's what I do. This is a recheck. I did a video on this crawl space, had a lot of standing water, had a lot of issues. This is an absolutely gorgeous home, beautiful. But the crawl space was an absolute nightmare. The crawl space door was falling off. I mean, it was rough. So we're gonna take a look and see. She wants me to come back out here and see what kind of job to do with the French drain, and that's what we're gonna check. What I had recommended was a full French drain and actually 2 catch basins and 2 pumps, and we're gonna see how they did, and a new crawl space door because animals were trying to get up in there. And so we're gonna start right here. So let me, and here's your crawl space door. Very nice. They use pressure treated lumber, which I'm very happy. Let's see what kind of plywood they use. 5/8 plywood. Very nice. All right. Yeah. You don't want to use anything else thinner than a 5/8 for a crawl space door. 1/2 inch. I've seen them buckle unless you do some good framing work on the inside to keep it from buckling. But around here we do have a lot of moisture. But definitely the pressure treated lumber is a must. All right. So it looks like they just had the French drain done. No vapor barrier. No nothing. And here she is. Alright, so nice catch basin, or well, whatever way you want to say it. They got a Zoller pump. I'm a huge fan. It is working. Backflow preventer. That keeps the water from coming back in once it's pumped out. They dug it in nice and deep. There's some holes on the bottom. This way, it takes, several inches, maybe about a good 4 inches of water for this to finally turn on. So sometimes you'll find catch basins with a bunch of water in it still, but they went ahead and drilled some holes. I've seen some companies actually cut the bottom of the well off, put gravel down there, and then put the sump pump in there too. I mean, that works. But for the most part, I gotta find the drain line. Where's that drain line at? I'm not sure over here. Let's check over here. There's our drain line right there. Alright, so minimum standards around this area is 8 to 12 inches. Minimum. Definitely minimum 8 inches. That's definitely not 8 inches. But you know what? I've actually seen them not beat down that deep and work perfectly fine. What I'm not a fan of is the soil, the dirt they throw up against the foundation. You got to be very careful with this because this is creating a new foundation to the crawl space. If you have a termite company that's actually, and I'm telling you this because I've worked for termite companies, if you're creating a new foundation, you can actually void your termite contract. I mean, they'll try to find their way to get away from doing any kind of repair work if you have a repair commitment policy with them, because you're creating a new foundation. So below all that, they actually did they would have trenched and treated with chemical, but now you're throwing a new foundation over it, and termites can easily work their way up and work their way up into the structure. And I've seen it I'm here to tell you, I've seen them more times than you can believe. So let's look at this discharge line. Out and away. Now at first, I didn't like the fact that they connected the discharge line to the main water. But that pipe is not the main water. That pipe actually goes through the entire crawl space, out all the way to the front of the house. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what it does. This right here is our main. So on my last video, I said, that's actually illegal. You can't do that. And the reason for that is because in case you do have to come here and do a complete termite trenching treatment here, because you have termites, and usually if you have termites in a location, the standards are usually to kind of treat typically 10 feet to one side and 10 feet from another, and that is actually a lot of chemical that you're putting in the foundation, and that chemical can actually work its way down into the French drain, sump pump it up and out to the water main, and that's not good. If you read the chemical label laws, let's say you're using for example Termidor, which is a pretty popular chemical when doing termite treatments. If you look at the label and you read French drains and crawl spaces, a French drain has to be a certain amount of feet from the foundation to be able to use that chemical. Now I think it's like 18 inches or maybe 2 feet. I'm thinking more 18 inches. So if you see companies come in here, I've seen French drains come all along here, which sometimes I don't know how they do it because these footers from these piers are there. But I've seen French drains pretty close, and I've actually brought that up and said, hey, you know, if you ever had to do a termite treatment, chemical termite treatment to the crawl space, you know, you're not going to be able to, because that chemical is going to go into that French drain. Hey, that's just a little tip for you guys. You do whatever you want with that, but my job is to check French drains. And here's our water heater. She wanted me to tell her how her water heater is doing. I said, well, it's not leaking yet, but it will be. Look at all that rust down there. That's not good. So if you see a lot of my other videos, you can see that I'm not a fan of Crawlspace water heaters, because that is typically what you're going to see. I'm going to actually post a video tonight on a water heater. It's rusted out, and then you'll see one not too far from it that died because of that same reason. Yeah, so this dehumidifier right here hanging, it is not working at all. Last time I came down here, it was kind of in the middle of the day. It's kind of hot. It was reading about 80-something% humidity. So this guy is not doing well. It's just hanging around. I am a fan of these watchdogs, but maybe it just wasn't maintained. Don't know. But I brought that up to the homeowner as well. People, I give information out and they do what they want with it. She was a sweetheart, very nice lady. So I am coming back out here because I'm just trying to be of help. So here's that drain system. Trenched all around here, very nice. And there's a pipe. There's all that dirt. God. You know, my heart goes out to the moisture people that have to do this work. It's not easy. This is a nice crawl space too. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, when they probably came down here and saw how tall this crawl space is, I'm sure they were pleased. It's when you have those shallow crawl spaces and you've got to be digging and doing all kinds of work underneath the house. You know, homeowners, if you have a low crawl space and a company comes out and they price something to you, Sometimes that pricing depends on how long it's going to take, especially if it's a low crawl space. Alright, so here's out of the sump pump I had recommended. This one actually they ran the discharge line out and away from the home. Very nice. Here's your backflow preventer or check valve, however way you want to say it. And our Zoller sump pump. Huge fan. Very nice. There's a lot of water in this back corner. So hasn't rained. I don't think it's rained since then. But we'll find out. Just kind of wanted to see the workmanship. You know, they sometimes with some sump pumps, you know, some wells, you know, they have holes here on the side. You can pop out. I think you can probably cut here too, and you can connect the corrugated pipe into it, and it'll actually go into the well. But just dropping it right here, it's not a big deal. We'll put gravel all around the exterior of the catch basin. Plus there's all holes around the catch basin itself, so water will find its way in there. On top of that, there's water at the bottom, the holes at the bottom, where any water that might be still in there before it starts pumping will kind of seep through, and you'll be in good shape. Yeah, I mean, could they have gone a little deeper on that? Yeah. I know I commented on that quite a bit on my other videos. How they should go deeper. Here they didn't go deep at all. You can see the ground is right here, and the pipe is right here, so it's basically in the ground a couple of inches. The shovel got heavy. That's what happened. The shovel got heavy. This was a little deeper here, so you know, it'll still work. They'll definitely find out one day, because I know this place took on a lot of water. But for the most part, looks good. Yeah, you can see some of the water stains from last time. That's dried up since. But there was a ton of water down here. This crawl space was huge. You can see this was all water. So it did take on a lot of water. So this is the front of the house. This is where that pipe is coming from. It's coming from outside. And there's nothing attached to it. It's like any bathroom or anything going into it. I don't know what's doing. It might be some kind of a it says sewer pipe on it, but it might be some kind of a drain line that they actually ran through the house to get to the back of the house, because this is the front of the house is actually the higher point. There's the French drain. You know, they went in 4 inches. That's it. So, would it work? Sure. If it doesn't work, they didn't go down deep enough. You can see that pipe. That pipe goes all the way down. Let me clean this lens, get the spider web out of here. If it doesn't work, it's because probably they didn't go deep enough. So there you go. You can see all the water stains. This was all water. There is still a significant amount of fungus growth down here. But this was a fairly large French drain. About 200 feet. You know, and for the most part, these moisture companies, they don't come down here with any kind of heavy equipment. come down with like a power shovel. It's just like a spade bit they put like on a hammer drill, and they just start cutting through the dirt. They'll cut through the dirt, and somebody behind them will come and start scooping out the dirt and throwing it down, obviously up against the foundation. You see, they just created a whole new foundation. Not a fan of that. Definitely would have peeled this plastic back and just thrown it all up against maybe towards the center. Not so much an entry point for a termite to come in. Here's your pipe. Went down about 4 inches. Any moisture people that are watching this video, if you go down deeper than that, good for you. You know what I'm talking about. If you don't go down deeper than that and you think it's still okay, well, good for you. So, I'm not trying to rag on anybody in particular. It's just I've seen them work, I've seen them not work. That's just the way it is. But like, you can just look at any spec sheet you can pull up in this region here. And it'll tell you exactly how deep you should be digging your French drains. I mean, some of those websites said 2 feet. You know how long 2 feet would take to dig in this crawl space, and how much a company would have to charge? But not only time, but man, that would be pretty rough. 2 feet's a lot. By hand, 200 feet of 2 feet. Good luck. So whatever works. Hopefully a company has some kind of a guarantee that if standing water does still enter into the crawl space and bypasses your French drain, they'll come out and do the right thing. There's that water heater. She asked me if that was if it was gonna last long, and I said I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that question. We'll find out, I guess. Anyway, for the most part, looks good. I like what they used. Let me get the spider web out of here. I like what they used. The Zoller sump pumps. They ain't go cheap. That's a good sump pump. It's quality sump pump. I've seen them in the ground last for years, decades actually. They put a check valve, 1.5 inch pipe. You can see where they glued it. They're at the low points, exactly where I recommended. They used the right gravel, and they went all the way around. So for the most part, I think that's going to work. They did a good job. We'll go from there. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me in this crawl space. Hope we all learned a little something today, and catch my other videos. Some really interesting stuff. I got a lot of them. Choose whatever you want to learn about. I've got them out there. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share, and God bless you. I'll see you in the next one.